So in this video, I'll be working here in the kitchen preparing some food. I thought I'd share it with you guys, and this isn't following a certain food theme or anything, just random dishes and hopefully some food ideas for you. And I'll be sharing most of these recipes down below in the description box in case you want to try them out. But before we get started, I have the most exciting announcement to make. I have talked about it that my sister is coming out with a cookbook, and it's in print right now, guys. I'm so excited about it, and I'm going to give you a little glimpse at the end of this video of that. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is something Mom would make at home, and I find myself, I think the older I get, the more I sometimes gravitate towards older recipes like that. They just bring back a lot of, good memories for me. And this is something we call a tomato steakly, which I know some of you watching here are going to understand that, but it's the Pennsylvania Dutch version of a tomato gravy, I think would be kind of the translation, maybe not exactly, but basically just a thickened tomato juice with some additional ingredients in it. And then we would often eat it with, crackers, or you could even dip bread in it, or a grilled cheese sandwich goes really well with it, kind of dip that into it. Or just eat it without, even crackers or anything. But it is actually super delicious. And here I have some fresh tomatoes out of our garden. Here I'm just washing them and cutting them up, and then I'll be using my blender to juice them. There are, of course, other ways to juice tomatoes, but for a small batch like this, the blender will work just fine. I didn't want any seeds to be in my gravy, so here I'm using a strainer to remove them. Since grilled cheese goes so well with this tomato gravy, I'm going to go ahead and make some. I wanted to make a couple sandwiches for us for lunch, and I thought I'd show you kind of my method on how to make them. They're really simple. I'm sure you guys all know how to make grilled cheese, but I like them if they're slowly made and have a really nice crisp bread, and then the cheese is all melty in the middle. I like to butter my one side of the bread first and lay that aside. That way if I flip my sandwich in the end, it has a buttered side up. And here I'm just using cheese, but you can of course add other things. I've done ham, and you can even do like pepperoni and banana peppers for more of an Italian grilled cheese. Back to the soup or gravy, I just made a mixture of flour and water, put it in my shaker, and here I'm just adding it to the juice to thicken it. Since we're in the season of peaches, I'm going to show you our favorite fruit pizza recipe, and this is another one of Mom's recipes. I'll start out by making the glaze. I'm just going to boil some water and thicken it. I'm using Thermoflow, but you can use, clear gel, cornstarch, just any thickening agent. I'm using a sugar-free orange jello for the flavoring. Going to cool that down while I prepare the crust. Here I'm preparing the cream cheese mixture that gets put on top of the crust. The next thing I'm making here is a breakfast pizza that we really like. The CRUST recipe asks for Bisquick, and I just normally make my own. I don't buy it, and I'll share that recipe also down below in the description box, but it's really simple. So first I bake the crust, and then as that's baking, I chop up all of my vegetables or any of the items that will be put on the top. In this case, I'm going to use eggs and ham and then different vegetables. And I think the best thing about this breakfast pizza recipe is there's actually a gravy that you make separately that people can put on top. It just keeps it from, tasting too dry for you. It is really delicious, and I used to make this a lot. In the past, I would host garden parties at our house, and this was one of the recipes that I made if people requested a brunch or like a breakfast. It's super delicious, and it looks pretty too. And when I prepared it for my garden parties, I would fix it in individual little pizza containers. It did look kind of cute that way. Something I love to use to make the gravy with is ham broth. I don't have any on hand right now, so I'm just using a bone broth, which works fine too, but there's something about that flavor of ham that just really adds to this. I want to show you something really simple if you're out of ideas or don't have anything pre-planned and you quickly have to come up with a meal. These stovetop quesadillas are really simple. Of course, you need to have a few ingredients on hand. In my case, I use chicken and cheese and then some vegetables. I like to use mushrooms, tomatoes, peppers, onions, and you could even go with, spinach or zucchini. But in this case, I don't even have mushrooms, so I'm just going with tomatoes, onions, and peppers, and then the chicken and the cheese. And the chicken needs to be cooked either, fried in a pan or grilled. And then, of course, you need some soft tortillas on hand. And you want to start out with cheese and end with cheese. That way your quesadilla will stick together. The final thing I'm showing you in this video is taco salad. Now I know there's many taco salad recipes out there, but once again, this is Mom's recipe. Always a favorite of ours, and it's something you can kind of prepare all of your ingredients, even the day before you want to use it. Just put it in the refrigerator. In this case, I'm browning the hamburger and then adding the taco seasoning, putting that in the fridge, and cutting up all of my other things, and then waiting to put it together until I actually want to use it. So hopefully that gives you guys some new food ideas. Definitely nothing fancy, but just some of our favorites. So before ending here, I do have a few things to mention. First of all, we have some new pouches in stock. And I had mentioned these in a few videos back where I had used up some of my scrap fabric, turned it into these adorable little pouches. I have an Amish lady that makes these for me, and she does an amazing job. They're really well made. We have 3 different sizes, and I turned some more of my scrap fabric into these pouches. And then I also pick up fabric every now and then at the fabric store if I see something pretty. I think these green leaf ones here are so adorable, and this is something I just bought purposely for these pouches. Just so fitting for something like this. So make sure to check out these designs. I did have some more of this newspaper print. We had it was sold out at one point. So let's start talking about this. I sometimes hinted in my videos about the fact that Marlene is putting together a cookbook. As I'm filming here, it is at the print shop, so I don't have any books to show you, but coming soon. But I wanted to give you just a brief overview of what has been going on with it. So definitely really exciting. I can't wait. So for a number of years, Marlene has talked about putting together a cookbook. She has many wonderful recipes that are her own, like things that she kind of perfected over the years, and I always say it's one of my favorite places to go to eat. Like, everything's always delicious at her house. She's definitely a natural, like just naturally a really good cook. I know she wouldn't want me even saying that, but it's true. I think anyone that eats there would say the same thing. So over the course of, I'd say the past maybe 2 years, I know it's been a long time, but we have been working on this. Of course, the recipes are her recipes, and I thought it would be fun to help her with it. Like, I love designing something. I don't always have time to do it, but I enjoy it, and I like taking pictures. And then we made this deal that she would, fix these different dishes for us, and I would take pictures of them. Now, I thought I got the better end of the deal here, but she insists that she did. But to me, there's just nothing better than having just a meal materialize in front of you, and all I have to do is just take pictures of it. So that worked out really well, and we're next door neighbors, in case you don't know that, but it was really easy, for us to do that. So again, over the course of the past couple of years, I've been taking a lot of food pictures, and I tell you, I've learned a lot along the way. I still feel like I haven't perfected it. I just know it was a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. In our first sample printing, the pictures just did not turn out right. Like, they always look better on a screen, or on the camera screen even, than they do once they're printed out. So I had to retake some of the pictures. To me, that's so important. If you have a book with full color pictures, you want them to be beautiful, and you want the food to look delicious. And no, they're not all perfect, but I think they're a lot better than they were at first. And I think if I were to start a new cookbook, taking pictures of one, I think I would be a little bit better than I was in the beginning of this one. But it was a really fun project. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for following along as I worked in the kitchen, and as always, I hope your day is going great, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.